Hello everyone! Welcome aboard the TQ Non-Profit Digital Voyage, a show where we talk about tech, social and public good, and how you can get involved. I'm your host, Imelia, and I hope everyone can sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. If you're ready, let's set sail! And now, on to our episode. Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode. Today I'm joined with the CEO of Food Aid Foundation. Would you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Hello everyone, my name is Del. You can call me Dalphine or Del. Yeah, I'm the CEO of Food Aid Foundation. It's happy to be here and thanks for inviting Food Aid Foundation to be on this podcast. Yeah.
Hello, welcome. I was wondering, just to get to know you a little bit better. Did you come from a NGO background or a volunteering background before you took on this role, or if you weren't, what made you switch?
Okay. A bit of personal background. Yeah. I have not worked officially in any NGO in the past, but I have been actually volunteering with social enterprises, mainly in the food industry. And I actually support some of the social enterprises to look into their business strategy, because I actually came from a business development background. I used to work in a corporate for about 15 years. And because of my interest in social entrepreneurship, I actually did my postgraduate studies in social entrepreneurship, and I started to work with a few social enterprises, and they are in the F&B industry. They work with farmers. They work with these issues such as food waste management and all that. And of course, I know about Food Aid Foundation, but Food Aid Foundation was not a social enterprise since the inception. Yeah, it is a non-profit organization. But the solution and the problems that they are doing is more on a large scale compared to social enterprises. And from volunteering with all these social enterprises and understanding about food waste issue, I got very intrigued to look into some of the industry, especially in the F&B industry. Yeah, we have a lot of problems and gaps. From in the food system itself. And from there, I actually looked into some of the platforms. So I started volunteering with Food Aid Foundation during the pandemic. But because I am I did not do most of the physical work, so I actually work from home for Food Aid Foundation, mainly to look into some of the strategy and also proposal development, to guide some of the projects, to look into what we can further develop Food Aid Foundation moving forward. So I started off with volunteering, and after having some conversation with the founder, Mr. Richie, and I understand that moving forward, we wanted to do a lot more innovative approach, adopting some of the social entrepreneurship methods, in order to achieve sustainability for the organization. So if you're aware that, maybe some of the audience or listeners would know a bit of differentiation between non-profit and social enterprise. A lot of non-profit organizations these days are not just Malaysia, around the world. We have been looking into some ways to sustain ourselves. Because we know that donations are our only income, in the past for many years. But we should not actually rely on just donations.
Right.
Of course, we welcome donations, especially during a crisis. Just to give you some example, during the COVID pandemic, Food Aid Foundation has never stopped. So it has been, we worked 365 days along with many volunteers who came and helped us to do the food aid distributions to all the needy family. And during the flood, I think if you are aware about the major flood that happens in Selangor, Pahang, and Negeri Sembilan. Yep. So we were very much into emergency and disaster crisis food relief. So, and of course, all these emergencies, we need a lot of donations, so that we can mobilize the supplies and resources in time and in a very responsive manner to the needy. So during non-crisis time, of course we will still be doing some of the regular food rescue. So every day our trucks go and pick up, about 2 tons of surplus vegetables, rescue food, and also food manufacturers. They have a product who are maybe, they have some damage or off-label packaging, and even like best before and near expiry product. When we say near expiry, sometimes we even get a product that has more than 1 year shelf life. So some are very short, like 2 to 3 months. But after doing some assessment and also some food safety tests, we are very sure that these food are still safe for consumption. We even have our food test lab to basically go through some of the tests, and to ensure that the food are still edible and safe to consume, and that's very sure. So we even have we also collect frozen food, because frozen, even raw material like raw chicken, raw fish. So those are frozen, and we also collect frozen bakery products. So as you know, bakery product, they do not have a very long shelf life. So but manufacturers make it in the frozen form, and that's where we can collect, and we can still keep them for at least 1 to 2 weeks, and distribute to the homes and the recipients ASAP. So that's pretty much what we do on the normal and day-to-day operations. So again, we are also looking into a way to sustain and further extend our outreach to more remote area. So as the leader of the company right now, we have to of course look into a more innovative and more sustainable way of managing our resources. So and that's why since last year we have extended our outreach to a lot of very passionate and like-minded NGOs on ground. So in every state right now, we have across the 11 states we work with partners. We have a branch in Kota Baru because Kelantan being the poorest state in Malaysia, we have actually set up the branch there since 2018. Basically to offer to provide food aid, and we also rescue food and fresh vegetables and from supermarkets and bakery product, and send it to the homes and also community center. So but moving forward, it is so we know that this mission is especially now with the height of food prices and all that, with inflation and all that. The poor people are not just the poor people, the welfare homes, and many segments, at the B40, we say with the bottom of the pyramid, they are struggling, in fact, since pandemic until now, and we are not seeing. So at first we thought that COVID is going to be over very soon, and we've resumed the normal operation. But over the last 2 months, right, when I'm looking at our operational data and statistics, right, we are not slowing down. So this is quite sad, because of course, we still can carry on with our mission, of course, but we are not slowing down in the sense that the volume and the magnitude, of course we are not doing thousands of food distribution every day right now, like what happened during the pandemic, but we see people still suffer and still struggling, and with the food price increases, we even got called that, because everyone's budget has been reduced, they could not afford they could not afford to buy more chicken, protein, especially, especially in the refugee center, they have growing kids, growing teens, and if the center could not afford to buy nutritious, a balanced diet, they can just feed them with more rice, and I actually got a call from one of the center that, can you send us more rice, we can't afford many others, but at least, don't get the kids go hungry, so at least they can eat more rice. But we know that by just eating rice is not sufficient. So again, everyone talks about food security and all that. Again, food security also involve not just accessibility but affordability. So these are the aspects that we are seeing, that things are not slowing down. It's a bit very challenge, for a non-profit organization like us, looking into the sufferings of all this segment. So again, we also hope that we can develop more interesting and innovative programs, or even product or services that we can market. Yeah, we can sell, in a sense that, of course, as a non-profit organization, we can't sell products, right? We wish to design a more empowerment program in order to help the community. So these are the so we hope that by doing all this empowerment program, we can work with social enterprises, we can work with individuals who wanted to become a social entrepreneur, and then from there we give them some skills. Of course, it will be involve food preparation, like culinary, baking, and entrepreneurship skills. So we are looking into a few programs that we can empower people through skills and vocational training. Yeah, of course, all must be food related. Yeah, because we are in the food industry.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are hoping to change, the narrative of other than just giving them the food, as in feed them the fish. Why don't we also teach them how to fish? Yeah, so we have a central kitchen here that we can actually produce. I mean, during emergency time, we produce hot meals, thousands of hot meals every day.
Yep.
So and of course now we don't have that crisis now. We hope, not to have so many every year. So during this normal, I would say, our normal operations, so our kitchens are available, so we can actually work out some. We conduct training programs. We also work with individuals or social entrepreneurs who wanted to try out food, food recipe, and perhaps looking into how they want to scale up their production. Because we have freezer, we have all sorts of equipment like a retort machine, to look into production and packaging process. And we are also hoping to work with many work with nutritionists or even like culinary experts to look into how can we make affordable, nutritious meal from the food that we rescue from all the sources. One of the wish is actually we hope to also develop our very own emergency ration, because we know that if we can actually pre-cook or prepare meals and freeze them up, frozen meals, and we store it for emergency purpose, that will actually help us to mobilize the resources more quickly during crisis. So these are some of the plans that we have been doing a bit here and there, pre-COVID time. But now it seems that because of the climate change concern, we are likely to see that unfortunately we need to prepare more. So. And at the same time, we also see people suffer, even, living costs and all that. So we hope that we can still constantly rescue more and more food that is edible, that's safe to consume, and send it out to people who need it. Yeah, and the other aspect is what about the food that is not edible? Yeah, because sometimes we rescue the food and it has gone bad. Yeah, it has gone bad. So we don't send them to the landfill. What we do is actually we work with black soldier fly farms. So every week they will pick up those food waste which is not edible. Yeah, so we call it inedibles. And send it to the black soldier farm, and also compost facilities. So and these are the end-to-end solution that Food Aid Foundation is working on right now, but in a more a smaller scale, because that's where we need to start to look into different approach and stabilize our current operation. Hopefully there is no more crisis that happen, and we can go back to the normal operation, and we can do a little bit more network and partnership, with like-minded people who are interested in looking into food waste management to reduce the environmental impact, and at the same time who is also interested in social empowerment, like through the skill development courses and program that we want to do to help empower the underprivileged people. So we hope to tackle this two impact, environmental impact, as in reduce food waste, and also empowerment through social skills development and all that. So that will be something that we need to do, because the I'm not saying that we're going to have a lot more crisis and all that, but we just need to prepare for that. Yeah. So as a non-profit organization, we need to be very strategic in terms of because we have very limited resources. Yeah. We can't afford to plan, to have a massive, a big plans, but we got to work it in a more innovative and creative manner by working with partners, by also doing a lot more meaningful programs with corporate who are interested in our mission, and hopefully from there we can further, we can serve the needy people a lot better. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was really insightful. So as I understand, so because to simplify what you said, so Food Aid Foundation is basically it operates like a food bank where you collect food, donations, and essentially distribute them to the needy and things like that. And I have a few questions, deriving from your sharing this now. So you mentioned a little bit about food security, especially on how important it is to make it accessible and also affordable. Based on your observation as well, what's the level of awareness on that issue as you've observed among Malaysians, and why do you feel that it's important to raise more awareness on it?
You mean food security?
Yes.
Okay. Food security is a very, very big topic. I'm trying to slice it down so that the listeners could also. This one you can off the record, yeah. So
yes.
I'm trying to make it simpler, yeah. Okay, so if you remember, as a layman, right? I think before COVID time, we hardly really think about food security. Yeah.
Right.
For us, food is like, it's a given, it's so essential that, we even have problem, we have a trouble like what to eat, we have like 10 choices, even, during lunchtime you have 10 choices, you don't know what to eat,
Yes,
so,
yes.
and when pandemic hits, we are limited by choice. Yeah. So to many of us, even to the B40 people, yes, they may not be able to afford very luxurious and a very nice meal, but at least on the essential food, they will consume the normal. They can access and they can choose to go for more affordable options. Even like rice, there are different price and different quality and all that. But as pandemic hits, just because because many people lost jobs, especially the B40. Some of them, they are earning weekly wages, and some of them, they are working odd jobs, on daily wages. So when pandemic hits, I think it's because of the economic reason, and a lot of people lost jobs. Businesses are not open and all that. So the good. Some of them, those who have savings, they can last for at least like 3 months or 6 months. Yeah. From our records, we know the B40 and the marginalized people, they could not even last for 3 months. So with the rental and electricity and with normal, all the living costs, if they do not have enough saving, that will actually cause a lot more problem. Yeah. So, and imagine this pandemic has lasted about 2.5 years now, and we can see that actually, yes, some of them they go back to work. Business has resumed as usual, and unfortunately because of the inflation of price, with the food price. So that a lot of food, because of supply chain issue, and even on the farming side, So if you recall, in the month of November, we have the vegetable prices have gone up so much. It is also partly because we have a very large shortage of laborers in Malaysia, not just in the farming and agriculture sector, but manufacturing and many other. Because when economy when economy reopens, means the hiring, all the sector need to hire more people, but we still have a shortage of labor because we depend a lot on foreign laborers. So as a result, the farm producers have actually reduced, because there was a lot of uncertainties during the pandemic time. So it was a very large shortage of supplies, and therefore, the price has gone up. So, and coupled with all this supply chain issue, so we knew that the food prices has increased so much, and people could not afford. So we can only opt for cheaper option, or even a lot of food has been, they can only afford, a lot of them are like processed food as well. Processed food, I'm not saying that it's totally not nutritious, but again, because of limited of choice, and so there is no time for them to cook a very nutritious base. If you have to buy everything raw material, that will cost a bomb to a B40 family. So then they will opt for, of course, less nutritious food. So, and the cycle will begin, because when you do not have enough nutrient, especially for growing children and all that. And then they will experience this amount. They will be malnourished. So from there, it's also about nutrition safety, security. Sorry, nutrition security. So it is actually a lot more about economic factor on this food security issue, but at the same time it's also about awareness and knowledge. So we can't expect people who are, B40 people, they are already like working, and most of the time husband and the wife they have to work 2 or 3 jobs a day. So from there they do not have time to actually do meal prep. And the elderly people as well, elderly people who stay alone, they can't really cook, right? So then they will have to buy food or go to the soup kitchens and get access to food. So these are the situation happens among the recipient or the B40 family that we are serving. So of course we thought that we can't really get them rely on our food aid for long term. But sometimes when you look at them, what other choice do they have? How can we say that let's not just feed them anymore, or let's let them not rely on food banks so much. So you have, because there is just no choice, So and the good thing is during pandemic, especially with the White Flag Initiative, there are so many people came forward. You can see that food banks are mushrooming around. These are the very good sign. Malaysians are so kind, and during this kind of I would call it another crisis, that and people came forward and do the donation and all that, But again, that was of course during that 2 to 3 weeks, if I'm not wrong. The White Flag Initiative lasted about maybe close to a month. That was a really a challenging moment for most of the families. So, but after that, and all these food banks, many of them, from what I know, because it is a lot more on the ad hoc basis, because of crisis, just like flood relief, right? So it's only ad hoc. The volunteering are only ad hoc basics, You send the food, you're going to help to clean the house and all that, and afterward you will expect, the family will carry on with their life and resume as normal, once they get their house fixed and all that. So to run a food bank, for us, as Food Foundation, we are here 365 days. So, it's always a challenge, and also, it's also our mandate, to ensure that, our food, we will still reach out to people who really need it, not just during the crisis, but because of the, economic reason, because of, the social economic reason, I would say. They couldn't afford, or they do not have the knowledge or awareness on eating nutritious food. And of course, in terms of food wastage as well, there is so much of education that we still need to do in order to share it with not just the F&B industry, but the household as well. How can we manage food waste better? So these are the advocacy program that we hope to do more, so that people understand and can contribute more, not just sending food to food bank, but starting to reduce waste by themselves. Yeah. So, yeah, ideally we hope that, there's less and less food waste. Yeah. But again, it is not that easy because, we know that in the manufacturing or even like food manufacturing industry, yeah, the entire supply chain issue is, we are looking into, economies of scales as well. So you need to actually produce a lot more in order to reduce your cost of operation and all that. But again, you need to also manage in terms of the demand and also supply side, so to ensure that the food doesn't goes to waste. So we need a lot more industrial approach as well to look into how we can manage the food waste. But at the same time, we also need to keep the balance, because we also have people who can't afford food. And we need more resources, because it's either through the donated food, or we have to try to rescue as much as we can. So we need to balance this,
Right. So from what I gathered from what you've shared just now, because I was initially wondering, how reliant are people on food banks, especially in Malaysia. Like, what's the landscape in Malaysia in that regard? And from your sharing, I have had the idea that, especially from the B40 group, that there is like a significant reliance on like food aid and food banks. So because ideally we do want to, like as you mentioned, we do want to start reducing this sort of reliance and stuff. But what more needs to be done to kickstart this initiative or the effort towards reducing the reliance on food banks and other forms of like food aid, do you think?
There are some community, from what I know, some community, they are working, they actually do some of the food sharing, among the community, which is a good sign as well. And they know that, what I know is there's company, or I think community, who actually started some food sharing program among their community, because logistic, you can't be like doing, a very large scale kind of food waste or food sharing activity, if your geographical, in KL especially, you don't want to beat the traffic just to send a pack of rice, right? So what I observe is that they are community driven approach on doing food sharing, which is one way I think is good. Yeah, in a way, if the households or if they have some system or some network, they can do food sharing. I think that's one way to reduce the waste, and also help the community around, within a geographical region. So of course we need a lot more. We need again, it's like, if I bring you back to like 5-6 years ago, when we talk about reduced plastic bag, it was so hard, isn't it? It was so hard, right? When the supermarket said that, we no longer give you a plastic bag, and people got shocked, they're still not used to it. And now you see, fast forward, I think 6-7 years, because I was in a zero waste movement as well, personally, as a person who trying to reduce the plastic. So I think when I observe the entire behavior of the society, right, it takes about 7, 8, probably 10 years to really, get rid of the plastic. If I predict well. So in terms of so then when I put myself into this context of how can we actually make people really understand and practice about food waste reduction, I think again it's going to be a maybe 5 to 10 years, or even I hope not more than 10 years. So sometimes I felt that the pandemic maybe is also a blessing of this, in the sense that people start to aware that, wow, this is so much of waste that I'm generating every year, and now that people start to realize that, wow, people are suffering, they don't even have enough food to eat, so we're not saying that we try to paint a very sympathetic kind of a feeling, but that's the real context that's happening on the ground. So and we need to actually start pushing this, I call it the agenda, the awareness, so that people are aware, so that they become a more responsible consumer. So this is in line with SDG goal number 12, responsible consumption and production. So as a consumer ourselves, if we are more aware about what we consume, and we only buy what we need and do not just hoard, and stuff our refrigerators and all, and sometimes we have to really control ourselves when when we have this promotion, buy 2 free 1 or buy 3 free 5, so sometimes we have to really think about, do we really need it, and of course at the same time, we also need to understand, there's this product labeling, we call it the either expired by or best before. So these are the awareness that we need to educate a lot more, because best before means actually it is still safe to eat, especially dried product, when they are dry. It can last very long, so long as you don't get humidified. But sometimes maybe the taste, is maybe it's not so crunchy, but they are still edible, you see. So rather than you discard it, maybe you can repurpose it. Either you cook it. I think most of the time our grandmothers or even mothers, they're very creative in making dishes that is even if they are best before, and even they are expired. But for product like dairies, all these are not advisable, to be repurposed. So in terms of how can we handle, so we call it, these are the food safety and food handling practice. So if there are more consumers understand about types of food that we can repurpose, that we can accept. So in a way, we are trying to reduce the waste that we send that to the bin, or maybe we can do a policy sharing. But again, this also brings me up to another point of if you're aware about fashion waste. So if you're aware about these days clothes are so cheap, right? We call it the fast fashion. Fast fashion. So if 20 years ago, people used to donate clothes, to poor people.
Yep.
And unfortunately, this and now with fast fashion, the clothes are so cheap right now, So thanks to, again, when you come to supply demand issues of economies of scale, right? So fashion designer or fashion manufacturer, they need to produce large amount of quantity in order to achieve the economies of scale, so that they can sell cheaper, right? So that's economic theory. So now as a consumer, we benefit from buying cheap clothing, right? So and when we say fast fashion means people throw away their clothes, maybe after only 5 times, 10 times a wear, or maybe or after 1 year they will just imagine the amount of fashion that we as a normal consumer buy and dispose. So now there's this even until now, right? People are still donating clothes, and sometimes they never ask what do the people want, and they just chunk all the old clothes to the homes or to the B40 people. But do you actually know that B40 people have so much of clothes already? Because the clothes are cheap, right? So, So again, it's not very need based, I would say. So especially during the flood time, it was really an eyesore. When you look at people are actually throwing the clothes, like a big junk bin. So I hope that we will not need to go to that extent when it comes to food waste. So again, we do not want to. We are also quite worried about people donating bad food, or they just send food that is not safe to eat, or not nice anymore, just throw it to people, just like the analogy of the fashion waste, how do you manage your fashion, your clothing? So again, these are the balancing act that we need to manage and need to educate. So it's a challenge, but I think it's worth. So perhaps I always have this mind that we need to start educating even the younger generation, because I think I have more faith in younger generation. All this fashion waste, plastic waste, and food waste, and hopefully through the younger generation, they will help to propagate this at home and tell their parents, tell their grandparents, not to do this, not to hoard the food, not to hoard the plastic, and not to hoard the fashion and all that. And then now, we don't hoard any food. So, if the awareness of being a responsible consumer increase, then I think we can be more efficient in terms of sharing the food. So hopefully from there we will also achieve more self-sufficiency. So self-sufficiency means it's food security. So hopefully that's the ideal situation. So I hope through the analogy of plastic and fashion waste, we can somehow find a balance between food waste as well. How we can encourage consumer to be more responsible, in terms of manage their.
I mean, when you were talking about repurposing food and some food are still good after, even after they're best before, and even when they're expired and stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of my own experience because, I'm currently, for work, I have to move away from my family, so I have to be independent. So that means I had to handle groceries by myself, and especially now the grocery prices are, increasing and stuff. I always try my best to lessen the need to do grocery shopping. So I always buy food that I know will last long or can be frozen. So I think when you're talking about repurposing dried food, it kind of reminds me of what I do at home.
Yes. We need more people like you, yeah. So I think that's why we say that it's a good. I mean, pandemic actually give us this a wake up call, yeah. So that people try. I mean until now I don't go to grocery. I still order online, yeah. So and then we try to manage our shopping list a lot better, yeah, because you do not want to be exposed, yeah, so much in the public area, right?
Right.
So in a way, I think it's more of changing of a behavior, yeah. So behavior change actually takes time, like yourself, because you need to be very independent right now. So and of course you need to be also very conscious in terms of your budget and spending. So I think that's very good. I think we need a lot more people like you, yeah, to do that.
Actually, speaking of the pandemic, I was wondering because of the pandemic, a lot of we have to operate a lot differently, even through work and stuff like that. So I was wondering in terms of service delivery, because you mentioned just now earlier that you still operate 365 days a year. So did the pandemic affect your service delivery in any sort of way?
Yeah. So we were at a very a blessed situation in the sense that during pandemic, especially the first 3 months of lockdown, everybody can't work, right? Especially in the hotel and restaurant. So what happens is that because our network are also from this F&B industry, and these people, they actually came on board and become our volunteers. So every day we have 40 to 50 volunteers come to our place and doing all this food packing and cooking. Yeah, so we have chefs coming from different hotels. Yeah, they join us to do the cooking. So during the pandemic, thanks to all these volunteers, we were able to perform our service delivery. And at the same time, we got a permit from the authorized party, and we can still mobilize. So our volunteers, with the I will call it the letter, authorization letter, we can still go on the road, and it was the best time because there was no traffic, zero traffic at all. So it was even more efficient because we can pick up and send food, and in fact we achieved economies of scale during pandemic time because there is no traffic at all on the road.
Right.
Yeah, and now when business resume, right? So now we're having problem with the traffic again, So we have become less efficient, and most of our volunteers are back to work and business as usual. So that's why we are falling back to our normal operation, that we rely on some of the regular volunteers who still come to us every days or alternate days, but the 40, 50 because our service delivery has reduced, because pandemic is almost over, and it does not really affect a lot because of in fact we were more efficient during the pandemic. But one of the issue that we faced was if you remember the Pasar Borong, our wholesale market was closed because of cluster and all that. So what happens is the farmers' produce don't stop, right? Because they still need to harvest it. And what happens if the supply chain, on the wholesale side broke down? So what happens is we actually got call from this farmers association in Cameron Highlands. So we send our trucks to Cameron to pick up the vegetables and bring it down to KL here, and we distribute to our recipients. So at least we try to save, the vegetables that were not able to sell, through the wholesale chain. So that was some of the work that we do during pandemic. Yeah, but now since the wholesale market reopens, and everything back to normal, so we don't really go and collect the waste from the farmer side anymore. Because again, we need to really work with every party in order to achieve to make it more efficient and productive. Because we can't do everything ourselves. So.
Right.
it goes back to normal. So what we do, our normal operation is we will pick up from supermarkets, pick up from the wholesale market, and because we are just part of the distribution chain, so we can't do everything because again, cost really matters. Yeah.
It's interesting how you always find sort of like a silver lining even in the midst of the pandemic, and I find that very interesting, I guess. And do you mind sharing any significant statistics on the impact of a foundation over the years, or even especially during the pandemic even? Yeah.
Yes. Just to give you some numbers, some statistics. Yeah. So we have some comparative numbers. So in 2019, that was pre-COVID time, pre-pandemic time. We on a yearly basis we are rescuing about 400 ton. Annually 400 tons. Yes, so that's pre-COVID time. So in 2020, when we have 3/4 of the year, doing in the COVID, so we have actually grown 3 times. So we are collecting about 1,100 ton. Yeah, so we have grown 2.8. I mean, close 3 times. Yeah. So because of the pandemic, so imagine that the amount of the food and the work that's why we say we are working 365 days and with about 40 to 50 volunteers mobilizing around the food aid. And in 2021, last year, we have grown close to double of 2020. Yeah. So that means 2,800 ton. Yeah. So from 400 to 1,001, and then to 2,800 tons. Yeah. Yes, that's so if you compare 2021 with pre-COVID, that's about 7 times.
Wow, that's very significant.
That's 7 times, yes. So and our warehouse, it was crazy. It was crazy. We do not even have enough storage, so we set up a temporary canopy, too large canopy, and that's not enough. We even use up some of the cold chain facility. We even have one container, 24 hours aircon, cold chain facility just next to our place. The good thing is during the pandemic, because our neighbors are all not working, right? So basically the whole industrial area, our office area is all occupied by Food Aid Foundation. So that's the best part, yeah. So we have plenty of parking, for all our volunteers. And we don't even have enough facility to keep all this frozen food, and we also call out with the cold chain supplier, the logistics guys, and we work with many industrial. We were very blessed, during the pandemic time. We have all this storage and also cold chain facilities that we can house temporarily, all this food stock. And even last year December, we received about 8 containers, 40 footer, 8 containers of food. And we were shocked, and because our warehouse is so limited, so small, but we are very thankful as well, because our neighbors, because it's year end, right? So our neighbors' warehouse are not very full. So, and then they came and offered us their storage space. So between December to, I remember it was before Chinese New Year. So we have about 6 weeks to mobilize the storage and warehouse. So our neighbors are very kind. Our neighbors, they do different jobs. They are because we are located in a very small industrial area here, so they do different small industrial work here, and they have space, and we will just try to use up the space. So these are some of the short term ad hoc measure that we do when we have a sudden space, a sudden supplies of all this food. So, and not only that, the loading and the unloading process is still continuous. So basically, all our volunteers, they are not signing up gym membership anymore, because they can just send so,
that is true.
And the luckily, it was the end of the year, December. Okay, a lot of people are clearing their leave. Some of our volunteers even took leave. They want to clear the annual leave, and they come and volunteer and do the loading and unloading. So you can imagine we need to unload first, from the containers. And then we have to load it back to all the smaller trucks that we allocate to all the states in Peninsula. Yeah. So because our food is there's just too much that we need to actually, because we can't use our neighbors' warehouse for long term, right? So we need to mobilize and send out all this food within a very short period of time. So we send out all the we also work with KPDN trucks, and also people came to us and provide voluntary logistics as well to help us to send to other states. So these are, I would say, is quite ad hoc, but it's not stopping. It looks like the cycle will come every 3 to 5 months. So we always need to prepare for this kind of sudden spike in terms of supply and to mobilize it ASAP. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like you have a lot of interesting stories, especially during the pandemic. Because it's very interesting how the pandemic, people thought that it will like really affect service delivery, but it's always surprising to hear how organizations, they continue to benefit, not to say benefit from the pandemic, but it's like it really affects them positively in the most unexpected ways, and it's really interesting. I was wondering if people are interested in like taking part in volunteering for Food Bank, for Food Aid Foundation, how do they go about it?
Okay, we have we always welcome volunteers. Two types of volunteer. Number one is time volunteering. So if you have time, you can always come here. We have a form on our website that you can sign up with us. And if you already have some certain schedule or time that you think that you want to come, you can just drop us an email and let us know what is the schedule that you would like to volunteer. Just come over and help us to do some of the food sorting. Every day we rescue food, so we need help in terms of sorting, in terms of data entry and all that. When we have a cooking event or we have programs, you can also help at the kitchen area. We don't really have cooking events every day, but it depends on the project and companies who sponsor the cook. So and you can join as a cook, as a helper. That's in terms of volunteering your time. The second type of volunteering we are looking at is actually more on skills volunteering, because we believe that by volunteer or even internship, it can also be done digitally or work from home basis. So we always need help to in terms of maybe digital marketing, social media, copywriting, or to I also need help, someone who can help us to make a better annual report for my 2022. So all sorts of skills that you can still work from home, without coming physically to Food Aid Foundation. And of course, there are also other types of volunteering, as in maybe you can also organize food drive among your company. It can be among the company, as in a staff employee. Or even you can even look into food drive among your associates, like your customers, So we have also a company who actually pledge fund, depending on how much customers or like a pay forward, or maybe certain percent of the goods sold or the product or services, some percentage or some, maybe 1 ringgit or 20 cents, 50 cents goes to Food Aid Foundation. So those are the donation of food drive. Food drive means you can actually organize, even we have university students to do food drive. Basically they organize it, and then they will collect the food and we will pick it up and we'll distribute to other places, to the beneficiary. We have programs that even recently we also participate in a treasure hunt, whereby the treasure hunt participants, we run activity that we put in some of the food waste issue knowledge, in the treasure hunt activity, and this participant, they also need to buy, like the essential food, in order to complete the race, the treasure hunt race. And from there, we also get food donated to some of the refugee center. So there's many ways of volunteering, I would say. So either from time volunteering, skill volunteering, or to organize some food drive or even donation drive. It can be in the food form, or it can be in a financial form, because we know that to handle the food logistic might be a problem, to community. So and all this, even in a financial donation drive, we will be very transparent in terms of how much that we collect from the organization or the group, and then and going to spend in terms of like how many food bags or how many packs of cooked meal that we send to the recipient. So all these are in a transparent, and I'll call it because we need to do a lot of reporting as well to ensure that monies are well spent. And of course, because we are very accountable as well to all the support and sponsorship given by individuals and also corporate.
Okay. Right. Thanks for sharing. As my final question for you, since we are unfortunately reaching towards the end of the episode, do you have any future plans, for Food Eye Foundation that you'd like to share with us?
Oh yes, certainly. I think in the last almost like 40 minutes, I spoke about what we have currently doing, right? So future plans, we are charting ourselves to hopefully do more empowerment programs. So we'll be actually doing a lot more. We call it empowerment program means we're going into to do more community-driven kind of empowerment. Number one is we want to do a lot more awareness about nutrition. How can we make affordable nutrition food? Even from very very cheap raw materials. But we want to make sure that we can educate and share with them the importance of nutrition, because we want especially the younger generation and also the elderly people to understand the importance of nutrition. Of course, we will focus more on affordable food ingredient, because this is what we can afford. Number two, we will also be doing a culinary program, as if we want to offer F&B skills and entrepreneurship skills to people who are interested in food business. So we want to first empower them with the right skills, and secondly, we are also looking into entrepreneurship. So we are getting because we just got sponsorship of a food truck. So we're going to try out some. We are not just teaching them, how to cook, right? We will also teach them about business model, about marketing, about designing different kind of menu and recipe, and how can you develop more economics of skills in terms of the product that you want to sell. You can either use the food truck concept, or we're going to also empower you with to try out with the the gerai concept, the hawker concept. You can try out, or even as like for example like the single mom. So we have baking classes for single mom, because we know that single parent, they can't work outside, they can't even run business outside like running a food truck, but they can actually cook or bake from home. And that's when we can also come up with a platform. We are coming up with a platform that we help them to sell the product through some of the corporate sales as well. So these are the empowerment program that we will be doing for the community. And on the third part is we are looking into more digitalization. So in a sense that because we are also mobilizing resources all over the country, right? So we are going to digitize a lot more of our communications about our supplies, and also coordination nationwide. So these are the digital process that we hope that we want to do a lot more, and it can be more synergistic as well with other non-profit and organizations and passionate volunteers and individuals around the country. So hopefully with digital system, I think we can be more efficient in terms of mobilizing, collecting, distributing our food resources. So this is the thing that we'll be doing in the next hopefully 2 to 3 years.
All right. I look forward to that.
Thank you.
I guess people can be up to date with you of what your future plans are through the website, I'm assuming.
Future plans, not yet. We hardly communicate on the because we are still developing it, and we are doing a lot of pilot run right now. Okay. Some of it which are already quite I would say ready to market. Then we will put it on mostly on our social media. So check out our social media. I think most of the current progress is more we are more active on social media. Corporate website will be a lot more corporate. Whenever we have some major programs, or even like a press release and all that from our sponsors, then we'll put it on our website. So you can check out both sides, website and also social media.
Okay, great to know. All right, so we have reached the end of our episode. So thank you very much for joining me in this conversation. I greatly enjoyed it, and I hope that our listeners feel the same way. So before we end things off, do you have any final remarks for us?
Well, yes. Yes. I think let's do our part, to become a responsible consumer first by looking into how we can be better in terms of our consumption behavior. And at the same time, if you are a producer, you are a restaurant owner, hotel owners, or even food manufacturers, retailers, let us know, contact us, how we can help you to manage, in terms of helping you to manage the surplus food, and so that we will send it to the people who need it most. And if you are foodies, you like to play around with R&D, food recipes, you are nutritionist, dietitian, please come to us. We need your help, and to look into how can we repurpose, or how can we make a better nutritious meal and help the society. I think we can't do this alone. We need a lot of ideas and resources. So join us, and let's be more responsible consumer and producer moving forward. Thank you.
All right. So, to any of our listeners who are interested in taking part or being part of Food Aids Foundation in any sort of way, please feel free to contact them as well. So, thank you as well to our listeners for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
And that was today's episode. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe and leave a review. It would mean a whole lot to us. You can also head over to our website, thundercode.org, to gain access to our free digital resources. See you next time!